Hello and a very warm welcome to the Grassroots Weekend show. Not too sure whether you've had football today, glorious weather, and as you can see I'm burned to a cinder. We've had glorious weather over the last 3 days, so we've had football, well done. I hope you've respected the referee on and off the field of play. Everyone has become no sideline referee, they've become a great supporter and have encouraged the kids to play and have encouraged the referees to officiate. Simple as that. Well, what a start to the Premier League season as well. I, in my fantasy team, put a couple of Arsenal players in there. Didn't realise that they played last night. None of us did, but they did. They won 2-0. Hey ho, I had some excuse me, some miss in my team before I knew. Anyway, I submitted a team without Liverpool players because I missed that one as well. I've really been not up to date with the Premier League, which I'm going mad for. But a result 2-2. Would you have given that penalty? No, certainly not. Not me. But hey ho, I'm not the referee or the man in charge of VAR. That's my decision. He went over far too easily, and I hate the way footballers have said on the show before, stick the knee into the player or pretend that they've gone over dramatically. Now, you know, you looked at that, but hey ho, it's the start of the season, 2-2, it's a point. Arsenal, top of the league up to now, I suppose. Well, not enough, I think there's a couple now, isn't there? It's only the first game and teams have just got to get fit. Anyway, it's a start. Welcome back, Premier League. I'm sure everyone who's been out there been massively missing it. I'm talking a little bit funny because I burned my lips, burned my ears, burned my neck. Honestly, it was just unreal. Now we're talking, I'll just have a little sip of water to cool my lips down. Hope these don't start chapping, that's the worst thing in the world. And hopefully everything will be alright. Now, was it alright on Hadrian's walk? He tuned in because we did say, saw the show last night, had we done it, had we not? It was just one of those things, 2 days of really, really tough walking. Now, when we say 2 days of tough walking, believe me, it was the hardest challenge that I put up, and we've done the National Three Peaks, we've run a marathon, water marathon, and we've done a parachute jump, skydive as well. And if you ask all the team, they would turn around and point. This was tough. It was tough in a sense that it had some absolutely gorgeous, picturesque places to see. It really did. And as far as I'm concerned, the weather was glorious. We had teeny bits of rain. We didn't have enough rain because it needed to cool down, especially on day 3. Now, what was the build-up like on the Monday? The Monday was a tough walk, I assure you. Up hills, roads, tons of roads. That's all you were getting, and you were wondering when you're going to see some of this Hadrian's Wall that everyone goes on about. So we went and we went and we went, and we knew. I think we saw a little bit of Hadrian's Wall, only a little brick, I think. And we're all making jokes and comments about that one as well. The team were amazing. We just got on like a house on fire, which you do. The bonding is brilliant, and we knew by day 3 the bonding would be unbelievable, Anyway, on day 1 we were absolutely shattered. The reason being that we didn't leave till 1 o'clock in the morning, and to try and get some sleep before we started the first light, which was round about 5:15, something like that. And then we had to search the way you got your start of the stamp. There was 7 stamps altogether, and we had to collect them at each alternative point of the walk itself. We did it, we collected it, and off we went. And it was more or less sightseeing at first of all, because you're in a different place in Wallsend, aren't you? You're heading off, but it was one of those things. We just head off, and by the time we were into our 20th mile, it was like that. It was steep and it was hard, and you could feel it wasn't just about the walking, it was about the no sleep, no rest. It really was. It was tough, and I don't know who could do that straight from the word go, because basically no sleep, and it was a holiday not a holiday for me. It was an attempt for me. It was a challenge. It was a tough one. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been a challenge. And we completed that. We completed it. So there was day one gone, because I don't want to go into the whole story, where we went, what we done. The hotel was okay, just okay. The food, wouldn't recommend it. Then we goes into day two. Oh my, it was really, really tough. We're up early again, lack of sleep for me. The lads, they went to bed around about 10:30. We knew we had to be up at first light, and we got told that the breakfast wasn't ready. We thought it was being served for 7 o'clock. No, it wasn't. So what we had to do is wait, get changed, get up around about 6 o'clock, and because I had a little lie-in, if you call it a lie-in, and off we went. And our driver, Col and Peter, they picked up our breakfasts a little bit further on. And when we say a little bit further on, it was about 6.5 miles into the walk. I don't normally eat a little bit later on, but I just shoved mine into the bag, because I just knew if I started eating that, it would really weigh me down. So some of the lads did. They were hungry, they were starving, they wanted to go onto the walk, and they did. Anyway, they got the breakfast, thanks for the driver meeting us up. So lucky enough, we had to meet just by a lay-by, and we stopped for a few seconds and then plod on indeed. And we're talking about plodding on indeed. Day two was the toughest I've ever known. My God, the walk, the hills, and you can see there's photographs that were going up on social media, just how hard it was to do that. And the team, you could see they were lagging behind, but we had to fight, we had to force it. We just knew, we could say we would put like 12 hours on this time, and that's what we were aiming for. And we had the first one was 12 hours, the second one was 12 hours, and we pushed and we pushed and we pushed. And when you come up to places like that, it's unreal. It was fantastic when we come to see Hadrian's Wall, and for the life of us, honestly, for the life of us, we're looking backwards, forwards, up, down. We don't know what that wall's there for. We really don't. There was little bits of it with bits of history, and we were reading the history, we were looking out, and we were thinking, why would anyone come climb these hills to come and fight? Why is the wall there? We just couldn't work it out. We don't know. You know, you can read that story, but I think as we got on with the walk, we're all under the same opinion that someone was just building a bit of a wall. We didn't see it on the first leg, because there is no wall, and we're just wondering what the fuss is all about. It gets you there, fantastic. Is it just a tourist attraction to make people go and do this? And right back home, when you see this bit of wall left there, that'll never end with us. And can I just mention as well, with the team, we tried to get the team in today, by the way, but it's the Premier League, but we're hoping to get some in tomorrow, and we'll give you a little bit more information on that one by the end of the show. So, an acorn is going to be the death of us, because you have to follow the acorn signs. Now, day two, only us could find a diversion walk on Hadrian's Wall, and it took us miles away from where we're supposed to have been, and we just couldn't fathom out until we find these signs. You have to look for Hadrian's Wall path, and there's apparently 4 different ways that you have to look at when they're pointing. Anyway, the diversion took us through farmers' fields, which we did at many farmers' fields, and my boots are being suffering still now. We've still got to clean them. You can imagine what we were walking in as we were going through these fields. It was unreal. And I don't really want to give that much information away, because if we've got guests on the show tomorrow, they want to talk about it. We want to get that in. We don't want to bore you. We want the show to be different. So I'm just giving an insight into it. So we carried on, and boy, 12 hours of walking, and yeah, that was our limit. That was our time. We just knew. We cracked it on the first one in 30 mile. We've done that in 12 hours. Hard slog. But it wasn't as hard as the second one. But the good thing was, when you're doing your second one, your muscles are opened up and you're going Once you start your walking, your body is right, it knows it's up for a walk, knows it's doing exercise, and as Gary called me, the headmaster, I was the one who was guiding them, pushing them, getting them to where they should be, and it was working a treat, honestly. And you know what, the pace was faster. I'm not saying uphill, because some of them were like that, but we made up for it coming downhill, and we motored. We hardly stopped. There was a little break, and I decided myself to start eating a sandwich, and we just plodded on after that one. Bacon, sausage sandwich to give me some carbs. Probably the worst thing I'd done. Anyway, we knew we were on target. We knew we were going to do the second day, 30 mile, topping up to 60. The team, absolutely brilliant, honestly. And the team will tell you about their episodes tomorrow, one or two of them, and then we'll speak for the others. Because I want them to have their say, and you get the feedback and you get the feeling off these, because these lads were with me all the way. Anyway, we managed to do it. We cracked it, and right at the very end, I knew we were coming to the very end. We were waiting to go to get the van up. I was talking away to Gary and Rob, and before you knew it, I just went, I'm going to be sick. And I turned, and there was nothing there. And boy, you know, when you call it balking or whatever, everyone has different sayings. The pain in my stomach was immense, it was intense, it was a nightmare. Started paining my back. I don't know whether it was just because it was the second day of completing the walk, and it got to the finish and the excitement, and it just, I don't know, but something caused something. And I couldn't bring anything up whatsoever, and the pain in my stomach was terrible. Anyway, went back, just didn't feel right. Then I seemed to be okay. Then as we get into the van and we all start talking, a tap on my shoulder, are you okay? I could feel the draining coming out of me, knew I'd done it, and I just shook my hand and just said, I do feel sick. I don't know what it is, I just need a rest. Started feeling tired, and then when we got to the hotel, the old schoolhouse, absolutely brilliant. We're going to talk about that one tomorrow as well. You might have seen the video that we did on social media. The hosts, Ian and Katie, brilliant. But anyway, we made it, and they come out to me and said, the lads had picked the room, which I couldn't thank them enough. The full room, the double bedroom, ensuite with the toilet there. And you know what, I couldn't thank them enough. And that, at that moment, was the best thing ever, because it was up and down. And then I just needed this drink. I just needed a fizzy drink. I was desperate. They didn't have our Briffic orange and lemonade that was getting all the lads on, because it worked a treat. We had that on the first day, and that's what we kept thinking about as we were coming to the end of the walk. Briffic orange and lemonade, gorgeous, ice cold in there. It's honestly, you've got to try it if you've done some intense exercise. So we had Gary, we had Rob, we had them talking about Briffic orange and lemonade. The thirst was quenching them, because we were on the last drops of our water towards the end. It was getting more intense, and the water, honestly, we were badly. I do not hardly drink water. The heat was getting us, and we started to drink it. And we're on the van, we had the walkie-talkies. As we get a 6 mile distance, we started talking and letting them know what we're up to. They were going to drop us water off, but you couldn't get around there in the road, and we had to stand waiting on a pickup point, and we couldn't afford to do that. We wanted to get the job done, and we just said, let's go for it. So we all sacrificed a little bit of water, knowing that we would come to the end of another 30 mile walk. Wow, celebration. We got that, got into the hotel, and down this Briffic orange and lemonade as quick as you could say go. And you know what, within seconds I was racing to the room, which is across the hallway, into the toilet, and before you know it, yeah, don't have to explain. And then I come back out, everyone was saying to me, you okay? They were worried about me. I just said, I'm going to try and have a lie down. And I was tossing and turning, and you know when you can't sleep, and you know you're feeling sick, and you're burning, and your stomach's going, you're thinking, have I finished myself? Is this hard? So, lucky enough, I get a knock in the hour off Paul, and he's saying, The lads are worried about you. Are you staying there wanting to go to somewhere to eat? It was a lovely village. And I said, no, I'm going to attempt it. I said, because I still feel hungry, I still need some. And as I get up, get dressed, get showered, and all away we go, away we go. And I started to feel again a little bit sick. But I'm saying, oh, what's going to happen with this meal? We're all getting to the chippy. Everywhere else was shut, by the way. They don't serve food after a certain time, except this one place that we managed to find. It was great, and we could go back to our host, the hotel. He set the table for us. They were just wanting to do our washing. They were doing for the lads. The lads, we just, honestly, the hospitality was brilliant. Anyway, sat down, and I got myself chicken, tomato, fried rice. I just felt like that. I just don't know what it is. You got a feeling you need something to eat, so you go for it, and you're thinking, that's what I need. All the lads got all the different prawn crackers, everything. We were all starving, but we needed a good meal on our side before we had our breakfast the next day in the hotel, and that was a breakfast to die for. Anyway, got through it, and I felt okay, but I just slept. When we went to bed, we just said, look lads, we're up early, final day, here we go. So goes to bed, gets up in the morning, we arranged to meet for 6 o'clock. I wake up at 3 o'clock, go to the loo, couldn't get back asleep. I think the excitement in my mind was 25 mile, we can do this. We'd worked out the route, everything, what we'd done, where we were going. It was just immense, honestly. So, what do we do? Up we get, out we go after our gorgeous breakfast. It was to die for, the best ever, anything in good English, or even haggis, because we were getting close to Scotland. The lads had the haggis. I couldn't do it because I had an experience with haggis many years ago in Scotland. I always remember that. Anyway, I didn't want to take that chance, and we just knew we needed that breakfast. So what we go, on we go, and within 20 minutes before our drop-off point, the van breaks down, the fan snaps. We wonder what it was, we wonder whether the engine had blown up. So lucky enough, Colin used his head straight over into a lay-by. Thankfully the lay-by was there by a railway station just before Carlisle. Off we go, and it's in bits. We see the radiator leaking. What are we going to do? We're all like that, and there was honestly grown men, tears. We just knew something was not right, so we're busy ringing around. A couple of us, the others had gone. That was it then. The adrenaline that they were going for the final day had gone. They couldn't face it. I was trying my best. We were ringing up hire firms for minibus. The price was extreme. We were trying to ring home to see if anyone could come and pick us up. We couldn't do it. We couldn't get anyone. In the end, one of the lads who was with us, Peter, the taxi driver, we agreed if two of us went on to do this walk. We were in touch with the AA, by the way, with a breakdown cover. So that was a nightmare, ringing that. And we were thinking, the later we start this, we'll never ever do it. We'll be walking until midnight, you can't see a thing. We'd never know where we were going to. And then eventually, we got Peter. That was the plan, and it needed two of us to go away and do it, because there was 7 of us getting picked up and it was getting late and the AA couldn't find anyone. And that little did we know that Paul volunteered, Paul Cochran, who's my manager in work as well. 2 of us said, we're going for this walk. We agreed to leave the 5 back. They couldn't go, they didn't want it, they were distraught. As I say, adrenaline had gone. Off we went, and it made our driver feel better. We wanted to finish this walk. We couldn't come back. It was a 25-mile walk. We needed to finish this. We went for it. We knew it was going to be tough, hard, and we walked. And through that, we were getting call after call after call by the AA, by the AA, by the AA, until eventually I said, there's only 5 of them. The problem was, if we hadn't decided to go and try and finish this walk, arrange a meeting, they wouldn't get picked up. They were going nowhere. They had no transport for 7 people. We would have been staying there all night without a walk. And they got their lift home They were on their way. I was still getting calls, sorting this van out with the people we hired off and trying to do a walk as well. But the good story is the end. We managed it. We cracked it. Paul was in bits. We managed to get ourselves through it. It was a nightmare. And guess what we got right at the very, very end? The stamp was in a pub. We got them all stamped. The stamps were stamped. The passports were stamped. The celebrations begun. It was a horrific orange and lemonade. And even Paul couldn't get it down fast enough. And we've got to thank Nicola, Paul's wife, who met us, took us there to the post office there, and away we went to the pub there, I think it was. We met her there and off we went for our stamp. It was the most refreshing drink in the world, and we didn't even think about the walk. And none of the locals, because they're all like, everyone just comes in and gets it stamped. And we were late, we were very late, and I think it took us 13 hours for that one, because we were tired. Off we went, and we went over the 25-mile walk as well. It was celebration time. Everyone was happy, the team were happy, the messages we were getting, it was just unreal. And at the end of it, Paul could hardly walk, and it'll be the same today. We've had our blisters, you see me burns to us in there, we've had our bites, horse flies all over us, they were attacking us. It was hard, it was tough, and as they say, no pain, no gain. But you know what? Celebrations are just beginning, it's sinking in. The team, we've got loads to tell you about, honestly, and hopefully a lot more will come out, because the guests I'm expecting tomorrow are Gary Crow and Colin Fulton. It's going to be a very, very emotional show. I'd love you to tune in. If I can get them there, you will see there might be tears flowing, stories brought out, but these lads are part of the team. We may not be able to make it because they're different days, but we'll have them on other days. They're an inspiration to the people, their families who support them, and their steps that they took are going to go a massively long way to create more steps for the people behind them and giving them the inspiration to carry on for what we're doing. And I'm happy that I've given this team the inspiration to do Hadrian's Wall and a skydive and others, 3 peaks, the national 3 peaks. These are the challenges that we've done, and marathons, and we've got to feel proud. But it hasn't sunk in yet, but tomorrow there'll be a lot more to sink in. Please tune in to the show tomorrow. Fingers crossed we have these guests. I'm trying my best to get them, and I'm talking them into it. Let's see how it goes. Good luck to all the Premier League teams. Good luck to you who've got football tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about grassroots football. In the meantime, put your feet up, relax, enjoy the lovely weather again, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7 PM. Myself, Madeline, and all the team here, the Grassroots Show, Don't Cross the Line, Respect campaign, and also our Hearts of Gold team. Have a great evening. Good night, God bless.